Welcome to another edition of Office Hours with State Representative John Hampton. I'm John Hampton. Welcome. We're so delighted to have you with us today. Healing the world one meal at a time. My guests today are Sarah Leathers and Ellen Palmer of the Healthy Meals Project, and I'm so thrilled to have them. Welcome.
Thank you, John.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
And you guys have been giving back to the community now for many years. First off, I'd like you to, if each of you could give me a brief overview of your background.
Sure.
Starting with you, Sarah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So I grew up in Simsbury, and I have done a lot of nonprofit work over the years. I started wanting to do healing meals about 7 years ago. My sister started this organization in Sonoma County 10 years ago, and it's been my dream to do this. And it was putting all the right people in place to get this started. But a year ago, or August 2015, my sister asked me if I was going to come out and do one of the affiliate trainings, and I jumped at the opportunity. So I brought Ellen, I called her and I said, look, we've been talking about this. This is the time. And so we went out to California and did that in November, and that's where the initial organization got started. We have two other team members, and we went out in November, and then we came back and we said, okay, now we need to do some fundraising and get ourselves started. So I've been, like I said, I've done lots of charity work over the years, and so I've learned enough about nonprofit work, and I knew that with the right team that we could get this kicked off.
Wonderful. Now, Ellen, what's your background?
I'm a holistic health and life coach. And what I loved about Healing Meals Community Project was it brought together all the different skills that I've had over the years, including healing my body with food. I had a number of different ailments growing up, nothing life-threatening, but certainly annoying. And at one point, I just sort of shifted over to a more holistic model and was able to get my body well, left my corporate career, went back to school to become a health and life coach. And I've had a practice here in town since 2008. And so Sarah and I were working on a project together with youth, really empowering youth to take control of their health and wellness, working with a couple of different local universities. And we were thrilled to be doing that and helping that generation really look at health in a different way. And one of the universities that we were working with lost their funding. And that's when Sarah said to me, it's just time to do this. Are you ready? And so we locked arms with our fellow comrades here, and we went out for training, and we've been doing this ever since for the past year.
So it's called Healthy Meals Community Project.
Healing Meals.
Healing Meals.
Healing Meals. That's okay. Everyone calls it Healthy Meals.
And they are healthy meals.
They are healthy meals, correct.
But what is the mission?
The mission is we cook 100% organic food for families going through a health crisis.
Okay.
And our cooks are youth volunteers.
All youth people.
All youth volunteers. We have in our kitchen at the time that we're doing our cooking, we have adult mentors working with the kids, but the kids are doing all of the work. The youth are doing all the work. So it's teenagers who come in and do all the cooking and cleaning and chopping and mopping, whatever it takes to get the meals out the door.
How old are the kids that volunteer?
The youngest is 14.
Okay.
14 to, mid-20s.
Okay. So college, high school.
We have college kids who come in, and our kids come from probably 15 different towns around the greater Hartford area.
So do you serve more than just Simsbury?
We do. When we originally started, we thought we would serve the Farmington Valley or the greater Farmington Valley, and that changed very quickly because as referrals came in, referrals came in, we said, how can we not help somebody? And so we at this point have served 15 different towns in the greater Hartford area. We've gone as far as Glastonbury. We have a client in Cromwell, Manchester, Enfield, Simsbury, West Hartford, Torrington, New Hartford, North Granby, East Granby.
How many meals have you served total?
So we are just coming up this coming week on our 1 year of cooking. And we have served over 6,500 meals to date.
Wow, it's incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear wonderful things. That's why I wanted to
thank you
to get you in to talk to it. And I'm in nonprofit fundraising myself in my other wearing my other hat, I do fundraising and marketing. It's challenging.
It is challenging
to run a nonprofit
yes.
and raise money.
Yeah, we've learned a lot.
I bet.
Yeah, we've learned a lot.
Now, where are the meals cooked?
Do you want to
Sure. Right now we're cooking out of New England Pasta Company. When
in Avon.
Yeah, they've been a fantastic supporter of what we're doing, a great champion of it. We were searching for a kitchen, and I was in there having lunch one day, and we got onto the topic of what I've been up to lately, and I mentioned this to her, and she said, hey, in passing, if you folks need a place to cook, let me know. And so we were back there 2 or 3 days later, and we've been there for a full year. So we're there. Their cafe is closed on Saturday nights and Sundays. So we have the good fortune of being there from about 4 o'clock on Saturdays through 7 or 7:30. And then Sunday we go back in the morning to package all the food that we've created the night before.
You do this every weekend?
Every weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
And their kitchen can't be too big, right?
No.
Because I've been in there.
It's not that big, but what's really exciting is the way that it's laid out. There are several different stations, and really that's what we need, because we are providing 5 meals per person in the family for the week, and including an immune broth. And so we just have our different stations set up, and we get in there, and we're a pretty well-run machine at this point. We just brought on an executive chef, which we're thrilled about, and we're pretty well organized. So it works well.
And we cook about 180 meals in those 3 hours.
Wow. So you're dealing with folks who are fighting cancer, other illnesses,
Chronic illnesses.
parents, children. So,
Absolutely.
and you were referred, or you're found out by your website.
It's originally it was pretty much, word of mouth. And, as we say all the time, if we were in a room of 100 people and we asked if everybody could stand up who knew someone going through a health crisis, probably everybody
Sure.
would stand up. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. So that's how it all got started. And then, we were in the paper and some other things, and that started to get some more referral sources. And now we're work with UConn Hospital and their Cancer Care Center. Bristol Hospital has reached out to us. So some of the different social workers in the area and the hospitals are starting to hear about us and starting to refer some of their clients.
Now, what constitutes a healing meal? What are the ingredients?
Yeah, share the menu from this past weekend. I think it was
So
Perfect. We're filming this at
Yes.
almost dinner.
I know,
It is.
we're all
It's
hungry.
good. So we made this last week an herb lemon chicken. So we pretty much everything is gluten free.
Okay. And local?
And as much local as
Local as you
possible.
can,
We're
which is
supported by Holcomb Farm
wonderful.
during the time that they're open. Last year they gave us, we were part of their Fresh Access program, so we were able to get a half a share of their CSA.
Nice.
This year we're going to get a full share. And we've just connected with a local organic farm, chicken farmer up in New Hartford, Marwin Farm, and that's been wonderful. He's supporting us, giving us really, really good chicken at a very reduced rate. So this last week we did a lemon herb chicken with a roasted sweet potato side. We did sunny carrot and beet burgers with a roasted tarragon potato, broccoli, carrot salad.
Wow.
We made a cauliflower leek potato soup. We did a cod with a basil vinaigrette. And I don't know what the side was. Do you remember?
I know, I
Yeah,
don't,
a
but what-
mashed root vegetable, I believe. So everything, a lot of what there's a lot of fresh vegetables that are used. And then for the client who's ill, we make an immune broth. And that is 100% organic vegetables with adaptogen herbs, which help to build the immune system back up when, if somebody's going through a health crisis. You want to try and keep their immune system as strong as possible.
And the objective with the food is really to have it be nutritious, but also delicious, because when folks are sick, they don't have an appetite, and we often need to keep their strength up so their
Sure.
body has everything it needs in terms of the building blocks for healing. So you hear this wide variety of flavors. There's also a lot of different color in the meal, so it looks very, very appetizing. What's been a very exciting part of our journey here is that folks that haven't tried this type of food and might normally not are really embracing the different types of vegetables and combinations of food that we're giving to them. And our hope is to continue to educate them as they come through their healing journey so they know how to make this food going forward. So they don't just have to rely on someone else. They really are anxious to be very independent, and with the education that we'll provide to them, they will be able to do that on their own.
And we provide the meals for a total of 12 weeks.
Wow.
So that, again, as somebody's going through this, they have the opportunity to get themselves back on track or learn how to do this themselves. And we have the Series Project, who we're an affiliate of, has a cookbook that we can share with our clients as well.
What's it called?
The Series, the cookbook?
No, the Series.
Series Community Project is the affiliate out in California.
Okay.
And I think, like Ellen said, if somebody's not feeling well and they go to the refrigerator and they see this beautiful beet burger with a side of these beautiful orange carrots, they're probably more apt to try it than if it was a plain piece of chicken and a side of mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. And what we're hearing is that they're loving the food. People, again, who have never eaten food like this before, are changing the way they eat, as are the youth that are doing the volunteering for us. It's amazing. Our youth are asking for the recipes. They're in the kitchen. If they're cooking it, they have to try it. They have to make sure the spices are right.
Sure. And
some of this is really, really new to them, and they're like, "Wow." How many kids are going to try Sunny Beet Burgers? Yeah. And we made them last week, and we have a time where we do kind of a teens education circle with them, and we like to have them try the different foods. And everyone was we only had a couple kids who was like, I don't think I'm going to try that, but they may try it the next time. But they're asking for the recipes, and they're cooking at home for their families now.
Oh, that's terrific. Now, are the food products donated? Do you try and?
Other than Holcomb Farm,
yeah.
We are buying everything else right now retail.
Okay.
And the chicken. We are getting the chicken at a reduced rate. But we are, unfortunately, buying most of our food retail.
Are you going to look for donors?
We have been.
So that's a way that folks can help you if they hear about it.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
That's our biggest expense by far.
I bet. Especially organic, as we all know, is more costly.
It is more costly,
depending on where you get it. So you're trying to build relationships with folks who might be able to see this show and maybe help you out in that way.
And we did recently connect with a food supplier out of the Bronx. Baldor Foods is now supplying us with food. Part of the problem in the beginning, we weren't quite big enough to be able to work with a Baldor, a food supplier like that, because you have to buy a certain amount to make it worthwhile. But we're now big enough to do that. This week we're cooking for 20 families, 36 people. And so we're able to buy, 40 pounds of yams and, 30 heads of broccoli and things like that, because we're needing that maybe even over the course of a couple weeks. So it's now working better with some of the food suppliers. But yes, that's a big piece for us is getting connected to some of the local markets and food suppliers and farms.
How big is your budget?
Our budget this year is $170,000.
Okay, all right. And have you gotten any grants yet, or?
So
I'm still wearing my fundraising.
I love that.
We appreciate that you are.
We appreciate that very much. Our first year, we jumped in, and it was all about getting the meals to the clients and learning about this process and how to start a nonprofit and do what we do really, really well. And so that was our focus, and we were blessed that we were supported by our individual donors around the area that, we exceeded our budget for last year.
That's great.
And so this year we have a team that is some volunteers who are helping us with grants and going out to corporations and hoping to get some corporate sponsors as well.
Do you have a board of directors?
We do have a board of directors.
So
and yes, so that's new for us. At the beginning of January, we brought a board on, and it's a wonderful group of people who are involved in different areas around, and so
different
that's
disciplines.
Different disciplines, exactly.
So you are officially a 501c3 that people who are watching can make a donation of any amount to your organization?
Yes, yes. They can make a donation on our website. It's
what is your website?
healingmealsproject.org.
Okay, we're going to flash that on the screen.
And on that you can make a donation. You can learn about becoming a volunteer, and also you can learn about how the referral process happens as well. If you know somebody who might need our service, we want to make sure we can help as many people as possible.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
Is there a spiritual component to this initiative?
The mind, body, and spirit are intricately linked. You can't separate them. What happens in the body happens in the mind and the spirit, and what happens in the mind happens in the body. So we don't make special note of it, although we do practice just being present and infusing as much love into what we're doing as we possibly can. We both studied the energetics of food when we were in nutrition school, and there's a lot of documented research that shows the outcomes of healing are improved immensely when there's good energy that goes into the food. And so we really do practice that. When we get everyone into the kitchen before we start, we do a circle. We just take a couple of deep breaths.
I noticed it on the webpage. That's why I'm asking.
Yes.
Is everybody holding hands?
It's nice. It gives us a chance to just settle into the environment and have everyone clear their mind. Because let's face it, we live in a really busy world and there's a lot going on. And so when we come into that space, we just take a couple of deep breaths and really focus. Lots of times we talk about the clients that we're serving. We talk about different things that may have come up in the week, great news. We read different notes that we get from our clients and from our volunteers. And
must be uplifting.
It is really uplifting.
It is. And the kids feel that. You know, their lives are so busy and they're always rushing. And, you know, cell phones are left outside the kitchen. And what's really interesting is every once in a while, I'll pass out a piece of paper and it's got a name on it. And it's a name of one of our clients. We're up to 50 clients that we've had so far. So when you're in a circle of 15 people and you start reading those names and then you go around and you read again and you read again, the kids start to realize the difference that they're making. Mm-hmm. In every one of those families, their lives have been changed because these youth decide to show up on a Saturday night and a Sunday morning to make these meals. Yeah. Now,
is there confidentiality if someone needs help and they want to reach you? Is that because a lot of people, obviously, sadly, are afraid sometimes to ask for help?
Absolutely. And I think what's great about what we can do for somebody is we deliver the meals. But if a family wants to keep everything very private, they can leave a cooler outside. Mm-hmm. They don't have to talk to anybody other than myself or the client liaison. I mean, we do need to have some conversation. We need, we make sure we have intake forms and consent forms that need to be filled out. We want to make sure we want to know their diagnosis and their treatment plan so that we can decide when is the best time over this course of the 12 weeks that they should be getting the meals for the best benefit for them. And then there's a check-in, either weekly or bi-weekly with our client liaison. But if they just want to keep this really private and not engage with a delivery angel, that's very doable.
They're called delivery angels?
Delivery angels, yeah. And they can, leave the food in the cooler and then they'll pick up the Snapware. We package everything up in Snapware and so we can reuse it. Okay. And so that client leaves their last week's out for the delivery angel to pick up when the new food is delivered.
Is that a newer word for Tupperware? Snapware?
I think it is.
Use Tupperware.
Yeah. So it's a different line, basically. It's a different line.
So are you in contact then with folks, medical providers, to say, are they giving input on Mrs. So-and-so shouldn't have?
No, we rely on the client to let us know. Okay. So we do ask the client to check in with their doctor and let them know and let them know. And they are to tell us what their dietary restrictions are.
But it sounds like all of what you're making is, low on salt and sugars and all the bad.
Right. We don't really use,
Any dessert?
Yes, everyone loves dessert. Not often, once a month.
Once or twice a month. But what we cook, again, is very, very low sugar. Yeah. We use different spices and, if we use sugar, it's a coconut sugar and or a beet sugar and delicious. The youth love when we have dessert because we always make sure there's some extra for them to try.
But you're working with people at their most vulnerable times of their lives, so it must be incredibly rewarding, but very difficult at times to see some of the stories of sickness and illness, and sometimes losing people.
It is.
So you become part of their families.
You do.
Yeah, the gratitude that we feel from the clients is immense. I mean, as we made mention, they send notes. The delivery angels actually are the ones that get the warm hugs, and they hear just how impactful the experience is. And what's interesting is clients talk about the food that they're receiving and what a huge help it is to them, because they're also trying to feed their family while they're sick. So it helps their entire family. But what they mostly react to is the notes that go out. So every week we send love notes to the clients, and they feel that, and they almost always comment that that's a really important part of their healing and very much recognized, which just fills up the youths even more. I mean, they just feel such immense pride from it. So
it's great. You're educating younger people much needed skills, but also the emotional and other values they need to be productive, giving, compassionate adults.
And you think if we can teach that to our youth at this age, it changes their lives. It changes the community as they get older. It changes everything, and we can do that here in this community. It's one meal at a time that we're nourishing. It's one youth at a time that comes into our program. And I think the other amazing thing is, we have clients, some who don't get any other meals than what we bring them every week. And so these meals are really, really important. We have a client who was losing, she has cancer and was losing weight, couldn't keep weight on, and started getting our meals and is gaining weight.
So you're actually seeing physical progress as well.
Yes.
That these meals are actually
it's really
healing.
making a difference.
Healing emotionally, but also physically.
Physically, yes.
That's
absolutely.
great.
We had one of our clients early on who had prostate cancer, and he was going to go through surgery. And so for the month before his surgery, we had him drinking the immune broth and just eating our very clean diet. And the doctors could not believe what had happened in just that 1 month in terms of inflammation. And then his recovery time was so much more quick. They thought it was going to be about 18 months, but he was really doing much, much better after 3 months. So it really does make an impact, both physically and emotionally.
Now, do you put your volunteers through a training, formal training?
Our volunteers get it's a fairly simple training. I mean, there are working in the kitchen.
Yep.
There are things they have to know. So our executive chef goes through that with them, and then they get. We do this wellness education with them as well. We do a teen circle with them. So they're getting educated on why organic. Why would it make a difference of eating sugar or not sugar? And so we have a curriculum that we do with them over the course of the year. Every week we do a piece of it. But the kitchen training is done with our executive chef. And what's also great is our youth, we have some youth that have given over 80 hours of volunteer time. And you think, we're only cooking on Saturdays and Sundays. And, actually probably now some kids have done over 90 hours of volunteer time. Those youth are now training our new adults and new youth in the program.
That's awesome.
Which is
That's
fantastic. Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going to be having any events, fundraising events or anything coming up?
So we're actually going to have a celebration of our 1 year for all of our volunteers and our donors and our clients, and that's coming up in April. But something that we've recently started are home dinner parties. It's called Nourishing Our Neighbors. And you can have 8 to 12 people over at your home, and we will come in. We have 3 different menus you can choose from, and we come in with a team of youth and a couple adults. We cook the meal for you. We serve the meal. We clean up, and you ask your friends who are coming to make a minimum donation of, we said $75. If you and I went out for dinner and got a 4-course meal, 100% organic, $75 is pretty reasonable.
Absolutely.
And you get the camaraderie of just sitting around the table. We don't do that anymore. People, lives are so busy,
So
and you
quick.
go out for a quick dinner. And we've had one so far, and it was, people sat around the table for 3 hours. We brought the youth out. They all introduced themselves. They talked about their experience with Healing Meals. So it becomes a really empowering program for them as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I thank you both for joining me today, and thank you for your leadership on this incredible initiative, Healing Meals Community Project. And again, your website.
HealingMealsProject.org.
Okay, so folks can volunteer.
Absolutely.
They can donate money.
Absolutely.
If they're a business, they can donate food.
Yes.
They can do one of these parties.
Absolutely.
How do we find out about your 1-year anniversary project? Because I want to do a citation from the state honoring you for your 1 year.
Thank you.
So when is that?
That is April 2nd.
April 2nd. Is that public invited, that celebration, or no?
We hadn't gotten
Well-
that far. Sure.
Why not?
Why?
Make
You know
it-
what?
We'd love for people to come down.
We
It's
would
very
love for
exciting
people to
to-
come. We
to
are
celebrate.
really,
People
really
could come and bring
excited.
their donations.
And it'll be a really fun day. We're going to have some different things. We're actually going to start. So Flammic Farm actually has given us 3 or 6
6 organic
raised
beds.
And so we're going to start our seedlings that day. So we have some fun things going on.
Nice.
So yes, we would love the community to come down
Great.
and see us.
So they'll be hearing more about it, I'm
Yes,
sure.
it will be
the
on our
patch.
website.
Facebook, can we like you on Facebook?
Yes.
Like us on
We're very
Facebook,
active
like us
Facebook
on
page.
Oh, good.
Instagram.
Excellent.
Absolutely, yes.
Wonderful. Well,
Yes.
thank you again.
Thank you
and
so much.
congratulations on your wonderful
Thank you.
efforts.
Thank you so
to
much
both
for
of
having
you and
us.
all of your board and volunteers. Thank
Yeah,
you
we're
very
blessed.
much. Healing Meals. Thank you so much for joining me on another edition of Office Hours with State Representative John Hampton. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.